Hola, amores, I'm Flory, and welcome back to my channel.
To give him everything I go, feel it, give it. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about feeling stuck and what to do moving forward. I am literally a testament of not only that quantum leaping is a real thing, but you can honestly create your reality and get yourself out of any and every situation. You are not bound by your physical reality, but you are able to express yourself limitlessly through your emotional and mental and spiritual health. Just a little bit about my background. I am of the diaspora, so my parents are immigrants and I'm a technically second generation American. So you already know that there are several cultural barriers that I've experienced growing up, as well as culture shock. Now, growing up, I didn't have the stereotypical immigrant parents being very strict. My parents were very liberal. I had a very good relationship with my parents and my family. I still have a great relationship with them. However, I'd say that there are aspects of when you're being given something way too much, it doesn't allow for you to build up your own self-drive or allow you to explore the world on your own. So I was pretty much given everything that I could have ever asked and needed as a kid. And instead of having that work for me, it actually didn't work out for me. It actually made me unmotivated and indisciplined. I was not disciplined. I felt like I was always going to get what I needed. I was always going to have that provided to me. And so that dictated a lot of my experiences growing up. In my adulthood is when I started really feeling that intensity of life being misaligned, but I didn't know I was misaligned. I thought that the friends that I was around, the circles I was in, the places I was going to, the job I was working at the time, I thought those were all things that I wanted. I desired them for so very long, and when I finally had them, I was willing to face any and all kinds of trials that came with those things, even though it was misaligned. However, I didn't know it was misaligned yet. It was only then that I faced a very major betrayal from friends, from family, from lovers, and I started falling out of love with my career. Since I was young, I've always said that I wanted to be a pediatrician because I love kids and I want to heal kids, but I then switched to wanting to be a pediatric psychologist because I felt like there were so many people in the world, so many doctors, so many healers in the world for our physical body and our physical health, but not enough healers for our mental health. And kids are the future of tomorrow. I wanted to be that impact in their lives, allowing them, kids who are facing different types of mental trials and anxiety and things of that nature. I wanted to be of that impact so that we could have more people who are rooted in love. Because realistically, your psyche is what it's so powerful, and it literally dictates the majority of your life. And so after facing all those trials, falling out of love with being a therapist so intensely, I dreaded going to work. I didn't feel safe. I didn't know whom to trust. I was just going through a lot of things. And to make things worse, I had to move back home. Moving back home brought up a lot of intense pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of shame and embarrassment because I was still putting myself in those groups and circles of people who did not care for my well-being. And I know that they didn't. I just didn't want to be alone. And so in that case scenario, I still had my dreams. I still had my, my fantasy la la world, my delusional fantasy of all the things that I wanted to be and all the things that the goals that I set for myself when I was younger. However, I just didn't have the motivation or the discipline at that time or the self-will at that time to really pursue it. And it wasn't until the darkness, the pain got really, really intense. And I mean intense to the point where I'm waking up and I'm stuck. I can't move. I just feel like every day is the same day. Although this is not the worst of experiences that I've experienced in my entire life, it was still pretty bad to the point where I felt like I couldn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. The little that I was doing, I was still creating content during that time. And I was posting on TikTok, I was posting here and there on Instagram, on Pinterest, and I was still surrounded by select few of those same people. There's some people I felt like I couldn't let go of. I just wanted to keep them with me. I'm like, what if I'm wrong? What if they do care about me? So I was just afraid, if I really do this, if I cut these people off, it's never gonna happen again. And what if I'm wrong? Now I'm gonna be alone. And so I was just feeling very scared, feeling very paranoid. And so even when I was creating content, these select few people were also dragging me down. That was when I had to put my foot down, and I realized that this is the only thing that I feel like I have enough self-will and self-drive to do consistently. And I had to let those people go. Once I let them go, this kickstarted I'm not gonna say the beginning of my spiritual journey, because that definitely started probably at 13, but I would say more of a mature and more a widespread open outlook on life, on love, on my journey, on God, on the universe, on all the things that I believed. I was now willing to open myself up to unlearn everything that I've ever known and risk being wrong, risk being alone for a long time, but I was ready to do that. The days were just way too repetitive, and I didn't want to live like that. You know, I'm in my 20s, like, I don't get this time back. I need to start now. And so I started this journey on my own, and along the way, I met a couple people who were very seasonal chapters in my life, but very necessary chapters in my life. And it was through there that I was really able to soul search. And if you guys would want a video of me talking about how to soul search, do let me know in the comments down below, and I will explain how I've been able to do that and give you tips on how you will be able to do that as well. After soul searching and really falling so deeply in love and in connection with myself, my past self, my shadow self, my dark self, my light self, my happy self, my sad, my angry, I fell in love and in connection with all of these parts of me. That is when my eyes opened and I got my master's degree. I didn't even share that with anyone, but I got my master's degree. I built up a lot of relationships, a lot of connections. I started networking. I started putting myself out there. I started making content full force and say, you know what, I'm gonna post it. I'm just gonna post it. And so with doing all those things, I started feeling this really tiny bit of hope inside my heart. And I was like, I can quantum leap right now. And again, I will have a separate video coming out on how to quantum leap in more detail. I read a couple books, a lot of different podcasts, and I was able to figure out how to quantum leap. It was really scary because I was like, I could be wasting time right now. Like, this could be a complete waste of time. Like, this might not even work, but I was willing and ready to do it. And so when I felt those emotions about certain things, like, oh, if you do this, you're going to jump into another reality. You're going to jump into a different dimension. I started leaning more into those feelings and emotions and doing those things that my higher self was guiding me to do. And they're very crazy things, right? It's only delusional until you become successful. Those delusional things that my higher self was feeding me, like, hey, if you do this or if you buy this, you're gonna jump into a different reality. And so I started doing those things very little by little, and within 3 months, my entire life changed in the biggest way possible. And I couldn't have done that if I didn't hit those dark days, if I wasn't able to sit down and really self-reflect. So now I'm going to be giving you guys tips on creating movement in your life. Number one is to accept where you are without judgment. Yes, this is a judgment-free zone. No matter what you've been through, no matter the things you've done, the things you said to your auntie, sister, cousin, brother, mother, it doesn't matter. You are here in the now moment. Whilst assessing your current situation, you need to affirm with yourself that you are not stuck. You're not a failure, but instead you are being shown a message when things feel comfortable and things are feeling like nothing is going right, nothing's going my way. So what you need to do is to quiet your heart, quiet your mind, give yourself a break. Give yourself some rest and lean into the patterns. What are the patterns? What keeps reoccurring in your life? If you need to, go back to your earliest memory of trauma. What has been repeating throughout your life? And start there. Number two, I want you to look at life like a malleable, shape-shifting puzzle. each era, each season, each chapter of our life, we are going to look and show up as different people because it requires us to be different people. Assess what doesn't fit anymore, not just in the now moment, but for where you're headed to. Whatever your vision is, whatever this maximum optimal self version of you, whoever that person is, what in your current reality does not fit that anymore? Ask yourself what your heart has been telling you to release, because I promise you, your body and the environment is always speaking. It's always in communication with us. We just have to listen to it. Next, I want you to start connecting with yourself. Connect with yourself and let go of limiting beliefs. Ask yourself, like, what in actuality is holding me back? Because I can tell you more time, it's usually something mental. It's usually this belief that you're holding on to that is inhibiting you from achieving success. And when you start to identify those thoughts, those beliefs, those habits, you start working on releasing them and letting them go. Next, focus on small, consistent steps. I know a lot of times when people are wanting to manifest their dream life, you're probably going through a lot. And so that can create feelings of desperation. And you don't want to just take very big, giant leaps. Sometimes life does require those leaps in, stepping out into faith. But a lot of times, the most accessible things that you can do, starting small, because you want to build into this habit, build into this new routine, build into this new lifestyle, and you want to be able to sustain it. And so that's why you start with small and actionable steps. For me, what that step was applying to grad school. I just started researching and soul searching and figuring out what it is that I wanted to do. And I applied to grad school and I got in. Lastly, I want you guys to remember that rejection is either protection or redirection. When things reject you or things do not allow you to move forward in that avenue, I want you to give thanks. Be very grateful, because I can't think of any bigger gift from God and the universe for people, places, and things showing that they will hinder or disrupt our growth or our focus. So always be grateful when things don't go your way. Yes, always be grateful, because it's for a reason, and that reason is almost always pushing you into better alignment for things that are well fitted towards your path. So lean into that newness and trust the process. Well, I just want to let you guys know that the physical world, your physical reality, is not going to change until the inner changes. That inner, that mental, that spiritual health is so important, and it largely dictates the state of our lives. I had to let go of a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of very anxious-driven behaviors and self-talk in order to achieve the things that I've achieved currently. And in doing that, it took a lot of sacrifice, people, places, things, jobs. It took a huge step, a huge leap of faith. But that's how deeply I had to believe in myself. And so if you're in a dark place right now, I want you to know that it is not permanent. I promise you. You got to start with changing your outlook on everything. You are so much more than capable to achieve anything that your heart desires. I am literally living proof that you can quantum leap from any situation and change the entire trajectory of your life for the better, for the highest alignment of your highest and greatest good. But it starts with you pausing life and going inwards. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share this video, subscribe if you like my videos. I will build more into consistency. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to chat with you guys in the comments. Bye.